Hey everyone, my name is Cassidy and I'm a lifeguard supervisor here at Splash Summit. And today we're going to talk about how to work on the slide tower.
In order to ride Flash Flood, riders must be at least 42 inches tall. If a rider is between 42 and 48 inches, they have to wear a Coast Guard approved life jacket. Riders may not exceed 300 pounds. Riders are also not allowed to wear shoes, hats, sunglasses, goggles, or t-shirts of any kind. This also includes swim shoes. Riders are allowed to wear a swim shirt if needed. Once you receive the signal from the guard below, relay it back by sending up 2 thumbs up. This means you're sending down people and it's clear at the bottom. When sending riders down, turn around and say, "All right, everybody, cross your arms, cross your ankles, lay flat on your back. Ready, set, go." In the case where a rider needs a life jacket but does not have one, life jackets will be kept here under the slides at Flash Flood. And that's how you successfully work at the top of Flash Flood. Next up is Mudslide. Just like Flash Flood, a rider must be at least 42 inches tall to ride. If a rider is between 42 and 48 inches, they do have to wear a Coast Guard approved life jacket. Riders may not exceed 300 pounds if they're in a single tube, or 400 pounds if they're in a double tube. In order to go down Mudslide, riders must have a tube wristband showing that they purchased a tube. Riders are allowed to go down in a double tube with one person, and they must sit in the front seat with an empty hole in the back. Riders are not allowed to wear shoes, hats, sunglasses, or goggles of any kind. This includes swim shoes. If a rider brought them up and was wearing them in line, they are allowed to take them down the slide in their lap. If you're unsure of a child's height, measure them at one of our designated height signs. Make sure they take off their shoes first. Since you can't see the guard at the bottom, you're going to send them down one at a time, wait 10 to 15 seconds, then send down the other side. When sending the riders down, say, "Keep your butt up, chin down, lean back and hold on tight, and don't lean into the turns." Make sure that the heaviest rider is sitting in the front of the tube. And that is how to work the top of Mudslide. Next is Avalanche. In order to ride Avalanche, a rider must be at least 42 inches tall. Riders are not allowed to exceed 300 pounds in order to go down Avalanche. Life jackets are not required for Avalanche. Riders are not allowed to wear shoes, hats, sunglasses, t-shirts, or goggles of any kind. Avalanche is a mat slide, not a body slide, so riders must ride face first on a mat. There are no lap riders on Avalanche. When sending riders down Avalanche, you're going to say, "All right, everybody, keep your elbows on the mat, lay flat, and exit by walking straight off the slide." There is no guard at the bottom of Avalanche, so when you send the next batch of riders, wait until the other batch of riders has walked completely off the slide. Make sure people are passing their mats off to those waiting at the end of the slide. And that's how to work Avalanche. Next up in our rotation is Water Bucket. Water Bucket's job is to make sure that the ground is not too hot for patrons. So what you're going to do is collect water from slides, doesn't have to be Avalanche, it can be any slide, and pour it onto the ground. Make sure that you're getting all areas of the ground that are super hot, and do not dump water over the side onto patrons walking. Water Bucket is not for sitting and talking. Next up in our rotation is Cave-In. Just like Mudslide, a rider must be at least 42 inches tall. If a rider is between 42 and 48 inches, they do have to wear a life jacket. A rider may not exceed 300 pounds in a single tube or 400 pounds in a double tube. A rider is allowed to ride in a double tube by themselves if they sit in the front seat. The riders in a double tube must ride with the heaviest rider in the front. And riders are not allowed to wear shoes, hats, sunglasses, or goggles of any kind. Just like with Mudslide, you're going to send them down one side at a time. Wait 10 to 15 seconds and send down the other side. Then you say, "Keep your butt up, chin down, lean back, hold on tight, and don't lean into the turns." And that's how you work Cave-In. Next is Shotgun Falls. Shotgun Falls is a double tube only slide. This means there are no single riders or single tubes allowed. Both holes in the tube must be filled. In order to ride Shotgun, a rider has to be at least 48 inches tall, so no one under the height of 48 inches is allowed to ride Shotgun Falls. The heaviest has to sit in the front on Shotgun Falls, and riders may not exceed 400 pounds combined on a double tube. Riders are not allowed to wear shoes, hats, sunglasses, or goggles of any kind on the slide. Riders are also not allowed to go down the slide unless they have a tube wristband, just like Cave-In and Mudslide. When you receive the signal from the guard at the bottom of Shotgun, give them a thumbs up, indicating you're sending people down. Then you'll say, "Keep your butt up, chin down, lean back, and hold on tight." And that's how to work Shotgun. Next up in our rotation is Skybreaker and Jagged Edge. Both of these are both mat and body slides. With both Skybreaker and Jagged Edge, a rider must be at least 48 inches tall. So that means no one under the height of 48 inches is allowed to go down these slides. A rider may not exceed 300 pounds. A rider is also not allowed to wear shoes, hats, sunglasses, or goggles of any kind. Since these are both body and mat slides, we have 2 different ways to send riders down. Once you receive the signal from the guard below, signal back with 2 thumbs up, indicating you're sending sliders down. Following demonstration is for when riders are using mats to go down Skybreaker or Jagged Edge. You'll say, keep your elbows on the mat, lay flat, and exit to the outsides of the slides. Ready, set, go. Next is how to send down riders without a mat down Skybreaker and Jagged Edge. You'll say, keep your arms and legs crossed, lay flat on your back, and exit to the outsides of the slides. Ready, set, go. And that's how to work the top of Skybreaker and Jagged Edge. Next is freefall. Freefall is also a body and mat slide. Riders must be at least 48 inches tall to ride freefall and cannot exceed 300 pounds. Riders are not allowed to wear shoes, hats, sunglasses, t-shirts, or goggles of any kind. We have 2 demonstrations on how to send riders down freefall. Once you receive the signal from the bottom guard, send them a thumbs up indicating you're sending a rider down. The following is a demonstration on how to send a rider down on a mat. You'll say, alright, keep your elbows in, lay flat on your mat, and exit to the outside of the slide. Ready, set, go. Next is a demonstration on how to set a rider down without a mat on freefall. You'll say, alright, keep your arms and legs crossed, lay flat on your back, and exit to the outside of the slide. Ready, set, go. Make sure you're not sitting on any ledges on the tower. Next up is boomerang. In order to ride boomerang, a rider must be at least 48 inches tall. A rider cannot exceed 300 pounds in a single tube, and a combined weight of a rider cannot exceed 400 pounds in a double tube. When riding in a double tube, a rider can ride as a single rider, but they must sit in the front hole of the tube. When riding in a double tube, the rider in the front can turn around and face the rider in the back, but the rider in the back must always be facing forward. And also, remember to place the heaviest person in the front. Riders can only go down if they have a tube wristband, and riders are not allowed to wear shoes, hats, sunglasses, or goggles of any kind. Since there's no guard at the bottom of boomerang to signal to, watch as riders exit the slide. Wait until they exit completely, and then say, alright, keep your butt up, chin down, lean back, and hold on tight. Ready, set, go. Make sure you're strapped into the harness, and that's how you work boomerang. In order to ride Vortex, a rider must be at least 48 inches tall. A rider cannot exceed 300 pounds in a single tube, or 400 pounds combined in a double tube. A rider is not allowed to ride down a double tube by themselves. For Vortex, the heaviest rider must sit in the back of the double tube. In order to go down Vortex, a rider has to have a tube wristband. And riders are not allowed to wear shoes, hats, sunglasses, or goggles of any kind. Once you receive the signal from the guard in the bowl, you're free to send down the next group of people. You'll then say, keep your butt up, chin down, lean back, and hold on tight, and don't lean into the turns. Ready, set, go. At Vortex, a guard is located inside the bowl to help signal when the slide is clear. When working in the bowl, make sure you're standing in a place that is visible to the guard at the top of the slide. Part of the tower rotation is roving along the river. As you rove, make sure you're watching the water in front and behind you, so swivel your head as you walk. Also, patrons are not allowed to flip, jump, or stack tubes in the river, as well as create chains. Make sure you're enforcing guidelines, as well as looking out for wristbands. Patrons cannot be in the river unless they have a tube wristband. The last spot on the tower rotation is River 4. Just like the other river position, make sure you're scanning the water back and forth to make sure there's no rule breakers and everyone's safe. And remember, riders cannot wear shoes, hats, and sunglasses on all slides, and t-shirts for some slides.
That concludes our tower video today. If you have any questions about working tower, please come talk to us in First Aid. Thanks so much.